Hey there, everybody. This is kind of an experiment for me. I've been playing Aqua Baseball, the basic, for a while, but then I've also recently started learning and practicing not the full master game, but what Earl on Tabletop Baseball calls a hybrid, and it's using the Paul Marino boards. So I've got the Paul Marino boards printed out right here. I do like what this offers because it gives you a little bit better rating for the pitchers rather than just a generic A, B, C, D. You get a number grade. You also have the left-right splits that come into play, and it also incorporates stealing a little bit more as well. Not going to get too involved as far as trying to get too sophisticated with this because I'm still, like I said, I'm learning. So this is my first go at it. Kind of a practice game. The only season I have that has the master symbols on it is 1941, and this particular game I'm going to play today is not a regular season game or anything. It's just call it, I guess, a spring training game, for lack of a better term. I'm going to be using the Washington Senators taking on the Cleveland Indians, and we'll go ahead and look at the starting lineups first for the Washington Senators. And they will lead things off with George Case in center field. Doc Kramer will be in right field. Ben Chapman is in left field. Buddy Lewis is at third. Mickey Vernon's at first. Cecil Travis at short. Jimmy Bloodworth is at second. Rick Farrell, the catcher. And on the mound is Dutch Leonard. He is a B grade pitcher, but his number grade is an 11. So that's the thing we're going to keep an eye on. Not the B, but the 11. He is also a Z pitcher, and his fatigue, he has a 32 here. He's also got a Q1, which is the master symbol fatigue rating. So we'll see how that goes. And that's the starting lineup for the visiting Senators. For the Cleveland Indians, leading things off will be the center fielder, Roy Weatherly. Ken Keltner is at third base. He'll hit second. Lou Boudreau's the shortstop, batting eighth. Hal Trotsky is at first base, hitting cleanup. I think I said hitting eighth. I meant to say hitting third. Trotsky's at cleanup. First base at cleanup. G. Walker is in right field, and he will hit fifth. Jeff Heath is in left field, hitting sixth. Ray Mack is at second, hitting seventh. Raleigh Hemsley is the catcher, hitting eighth, and Bob Feller is on the mound. He has a 17, which is obviously a better grade than the 11. He's also an X, Y, and W pitcher. He's got a Q0, so he pitches a lot of complete games. So fatigue is probably not going to be an issue for him. We'll see how things go. On the setup, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the dice where you can see them, and I'll put the cards where you can see them. And off to the side, to this way, where my thumb's pointing, are actually I've got them in a binder, my Marino boards. I'm going to have these off to the side. I can't fit them on camera, but I'm going to have them off to the side, and we will get going. Okay, so George Case will be leading things off for the Senators. It's a 54, so Case, a 54 is a 32. 32 on the Marino boards is a fly to right field. And most of these results are in the basic big game booklet as well. Just mainly the stuff in the lower numbers or where the Marino boards come into play. But that play would have been the same regardless of his basic or whatever. All right, so here is Doc Kramer. It's a 34 for Doc Kramer, and that's a 31. 31 is a fly to center, so we had a fly to right, now a fly to center, two quick outs. And that brings up Ben Chapman, shortstop. It's a 54. 54 is a 32. That is a fly to right. So how about that? 3 fly outs off the bat of Senators hitters. And 1, 2, 3, they go quietly in the top of the first. All right, bottom of the first, it'll be Roy Weatherly. It's a 31, and that's a 9. So this is the first chance we get for the Marino boards to take effect. And the pitcher, in this case Leonard, is an 11. Leonard is also a right-handed pitcher. So if we look at Weatherly against righties, it's no change. He would be -3 against lefties. But against righties, it's no change. So we've got an 11 and a 9. So a 9 and an 11. So we go to the Marino boards under a number 11. And I'll show it the first time for anybody that's not familiar with it. At least actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'll take the one that's not in the binder. I got 2 copies here. So this one's probably easier to see. Okay, so pitcher's an 11. Come down here to a 9. And the 11 will change that 9 into a 28. So you can see right there, the 11 changes the 9 to a 28. So we go here to a 28, and it's a ground out to short. So right away the first batter, instead of getting a single, which is what it would have been on the regular boards, it is a ground out to short. So very first batter in the home half of the first, that comes into play. And it comes into play when there's a 1 through an 11 on the result. It's Keltner, 61. That is a 39, so that's going to be a strike. Unless Leonard is wild, if he has a W rating, which I don't think he does. He does not. He's got a Z rating, actually. That is his only rating, is a Z. So it's going to be a strike. Keltner still at the plate. It's a 62 for Keltner, and that's a 32. And that's going to be a fly out to right field for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down. And I'm trying to get my setup for this game. This is a practice for my setup as well, so hopefully that will improve as the games I play go along. Here's Boudreaux, 24, 2-4. 24 is a 31. 31 is a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So 1 inning in the books, no score. We'll say we're playing from some city in Florida because it's spring training. All right, here's Buddy Lewis to start the second. Oh, that's a 55 for Buddy Lewis. That's an 8. All right, but now we got problems because we go to the Marino boards. And we'll first look at Buddy Lewis. See how he does against right-handers. That's a -1, which means that's going to add 1 to the pitcher grade. So Feller, who was a 17, is now an 18. So we'll go to an 18. An 18, and it was an 8. So we go to 18 and an 8, and that changes that single to a 30. I'm sorry, a 31. And 31 is a fly to center. So right there, that extra rating comes into play. Fly out to center. Here's Mickey Vernon. 13 is a 14. That's going to be a walk because Feller actually has the W quality, not a Z quality. So it will be a walk. And for the first time, we go to the runner on first boards. For the next batter, Cecil Travis. So 12. Travis, 25. That's a double play, 4-6-3. So quick work done by Feller. Takes the Senators out of the top of the second. We go to the bottom of the second, no score. And Hal Trusky, first baseman, leads off for Cleveland. 62 is a 41. And the 41, and it says here, first and second on error, because it's an error on the throw. Oh, wait a minute, let's see here. Both teams are fielding 2. I was looking at fielding 1. I'm sorry, fielding 3. Fielding 2, it says first and second on error to the pitcher. So it's an error on the pitcher, Dutch Leonard, a 2-base error on the throw. So Trosky will make it to second base. And that's what I'm reading right here on the Marino boards. There's 41, fielding column number 2, which is where both teams are. It's a 2-base error. So we go to the runner on second. Nobody out. And G. Walker, the batter. It's 12, and that's a 25. 25. Line out to the second baseman. If it was a fielding column 1, it would have been a double play, but they're not. They're fielding column 2, so it's simply a line out. The runner does get back. Here's Jeff Heath. 44 for Heath. That's a 7. I don't even think that Feller can stop a 7. We'll see. Heath, though, against a right-hander is +3, which is -3 as it translates to the pitcher card. So Feller will drop to a 14, and a 7 and a 14. Let's see how that looks on the boards. 7 and a 14. All right. He's a 14 and a 7. That's fine. 14 right there. 7 is blank. 8 he would have affected. 7 he is not. So 7 says single, runner scores. So Feller, I'm sorry, not Feller, Leonard, actually it's not a 17, he's an 11. Now the wrong team I was looking at there. So he's actually an 8 and an 8, and it's still not going to affect a 7. So it's going to be a single. Pretty much nobody affects a 7 on this unless you're upper echelon pitcher. So it's a single, the runner scores. So Cleveland takes a 1-0 lead. It's an unearned run. And Heath is now at first base. So we go to our runner on first boards. 1 out. For Ray Mack. It's a 35 for Mack. That's a 13. That's a strikeout no matter whose board you're using. 13 is the universal strikeout number in APA. So that is going to be out number 2. And here's Raleigh Hemsley. 65 for Hemsley is a 35. And that's going to be a foul out unless the pitcher has a W. And Leonard actually has a Z, so it will be a foul out to the catcher to end the inning. But the Indians do pick up a run. It's unearned, but they'll take it. The end of 2. It's Cleveland 1 and Washington nothing. Here's Jimmy Bloodworth to lead off the third. 13 is a 14, and that's going to be a walk because Feller does not have the double Z. In fact, he's got a W. So that's a leadoff walk for Bloodworth. And let's see, he only stole 1 base all year, so we're not going to try anything fancy there. We'll move on to the next batter, Rick Farrell, the catcher. It's a 45. 45 is a 14. And guess what? That's another walk. He doesn't have a Z, so first 2 batters are on via walk. And now we'll go to a sacrifice bunt because the pitcher is batting. And I'm not sure how to do sacrifice bunts on these Marino boards, so I'm going to revert back to the big board, the original board that came with the game, and look at sacrifice bunts with runners on first and second. So we'll roll for Leonard, and he gets a 14. So Leonard, a 14, becomes a 30. So we go to 30 on the big board, and 30 says out at first, runners advance. So it's pitcher to first on the sacrifice. So it's a good sacrifice, 1-4. And the runners move into scoring position at second and third with 1 out, and the infield will play back. Early in the game, and it's only a 1-run game, they'll play back. And George Case, leadoff man, is up. 45 for Case is a 14. That's a walk, and that's going to load the bases. So 3 walks in the inning by Feller. And the bases are full with only 1 out, so now the infield's at double play depth for Doc Kramer. 45. 45 is a 14 again. It's another walk. I've rolled 45 several times, and apparently that's the magic number for walks. And we got a tie ball game as Feller has walked another. Bases are still loaded. The line keeps moving. Here is Ben Chapman. At least I didn't roll a 45. 24. It's a 30 with the bases loaded. A 30. Fielding column number 2 is a fly out to left, but if a pitcher has an X, it's a strikeout. Feller does have the X, so it is a strikeout. Out number 2. Bases remain loaded. for Buddy Lewis. Oh, that's not good. 66 is a 0, so we're going to column 2. It's a 32. That's a 7, so we know that he's not going to be able to stop a 7. And that is a single, 2-run single. And if the runner on first is fast, he will make third. Kramer is not fast, so he will stop at second. But Case scores, as does Farrell, and the Senators now grab a 3-1 lead. So Feller was rolling along the first 2 innings, running into trouble now, and now we revert back to runners at the corners. The runners at the corners, 2 outs for Mickey Vernon. We get a 12. 12 for Mickey Vernon is a 25. 25 is, let's see here, fielder's choice, 6-4. So 6-4 fielder's choice is going to end the inning. But 3 runs come in. We go to the bottom of the third. And the Senators grab a 3-1 lead. So now Feller will come to bat. He'll lead off. 42 is a 13, which he strikes out. 1 away for Feller. Top of the order, and Weatherly. 22 for Weatherly is a 7. And Leonard is an 11. 0 on the batter adjustment. So it's still an 11. But on a 7, you have to have about a 30 to stop that. So it's going to be a single. So Weatherly will reach on a single. He only stole 2 bases all year, so he's not going anywhere. Keltner, 51 for Keltner is a 9. This could be interesting. Keltner is -3 on his batter adjustment against a righty. That's going to add 3 to Leonard and make him a 14. And we have a 9 and a 14. 14 and a 9. There is no adjustment. So on the Marino boards, 14 and 9. There's 14, and there's nothing here for the 9. On a 8, it would be an adjustment, but on a 9, it is not. So it's going to be a single. Single off the bat of Keltner. And let's see here. Does the runner get 1 base? Or let's see what we got. Runner on first. 9. Yeah, it just says runner to second. So now we got runners at first and second, with nobody out. And that brings up Lou Boudreau. 24 for Boudreau. It's a 31. 31 on a field in column 2 is a fly out to center. Runner holds. 1 down. Brings up Hal Trotsky. 46, 29, 29. Double play, 163. How about that? 163 double play ends the inning. And that's going to do it for the Indians. We go to the 4th. Still 3-1 Senators. And leading things off will be Cecil Travis. 16. It's 28. 28 is a ground out to short. 1 away. And that's going to bring up Jimmy Bloodworth. 46 for Bloodworth is a 29. That is a strikeout because of the X. So since Feller had the X, it is a strikeout. It would have been a ground out to the pitcher, but the X gives him the K. Here's Farrell, 21. It's a 12. That's ground out to first, and that's going to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down, so hopefully for Cleveland's sake, Bob Feller has righted the ship. Here's G. Walker. 13 is a 40, and that's a foul. So Walker will get another chance. 54, 32. That is a fly out to right field. 1 away. Jeff Heath, 21. is a 12, and that's a ground out to first. So 2 up, 2 down for Ray Mack. 55, that's an 8. Mack is a -2, which means we add 2 to Leonard, makes him a 13. So a 13 and an 8. Does that affect an 8? 13. Yes, it does. 13, come down here to the 8, changes the 8 to a 31. And a 31 is a fly out to center. So there again, the batting factors come into play, which, I think adds a little realism, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of diehard APA people are strictly basic, but I think this does add a little bit to it. It does slow the game down, no doubt about that, but I think the more I play this and get comfortable with it, it'll get faster. I know Tabletop Earl plays pretty quickly on these. 64 is a 30. 30 is a fly to left. So Leonard is retired. Brings us to the top of the order, and George Case. Whoa, an 11 for Case is a 0. So he will roll again. 36. 36 is a 6. So you're not stopping that on a 6. Let's double check. Make sure Feller does not have an L or an M, so there's not going to change that to a home run. So it's just going to stay a double. So it's a double for Case. And there's 1 out with a runner in scoring position. We move over to the runner on second base chart. Doc Kramer. 25 for Kramer is an 8. So an 8 and Kramer is a 0. So no effect there. So Feller stays a 17. 17 and an 8 is going to be changed to a 26. So 26 is a ground out, 4-3. Runner goes to third. So instead of a base hit, it's a ground out to second. Case does make third, but now there are 2 outs. And we go to the runner on third chart. For the next man up, Ben Chapman. Chapman, a 13 is a 14. That's a walk. So we got runners on the corners with 2 outs for Buddy Lewis. 35 for Buddy Lewis is a 39. 39 is a strike. Gets another go. 35. It's another 39. So it's another strike. I've never had a strikeout on 3 strike calls before. If we can do that. 16. Nope. 28. 28 is on fielding column 2. Ground out 6-3. So it's a 6-3 ground out to end the inning. And now we go to bottom of the 5th. It'll be Hemsley, catcher. Hemsley at 24 is a 30. And the 30 is a fly to left. 1 away. Brings up Mr. Feller. 36 for Feller is a 33. And that is a pop up to second. 2 down. Weatherly. 44 for Weatherly is a 7. That's going to be a base hit because you can't stop that. Or neither one of these pitchers are able to stop that. So it is a single for Weatherly. Bring up Keltner. And 11 for Keltner is a 0. So Keltner is going to get into 1. To 21, which makes that a 6. So on a 6, it says double, runner to third, but a fast runner would score. Weatherly is on first. He is not a fast runner. Does it say anything about 2 outs? Yep, 2 outs he scores. So since there were 2 outs, Weatherly will score. It's a Ken Keltner double, RBI double. Cuts the lead to 3-2. So Keltner comes through. Here's Boudreaux. 54 for Boudreaux is a 32. The runner at second base. 32 is a fly to right. And that's going to end the inning. But a run comes across for the Indians, and at the end of 5, it is Washington 3, Cleveland 2. And next man up for the Senators will be Mickey Vernon. It's a 35. That is a 9. And Vernon's a +1, which will take away 1 from Feller, make him a 16. 16 and a 9 is no change. So that's going to be a base hit for Mickey Vernon. Vernon is aboard. And I'll bring up Cecil Travis. 46 for Travis is a 30. A 30 is a fly to left. 1 away for Jimmy Bloodworth. 41 for Bloodworth is a 24. 24 is a double play, 6-4-3. So that will end the inning. Nothing for the Senators. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 3-2 Washington. For the Indians, leading things off will be Al Trotsky. 15 for Trotsky is an 8. Trotsky against a right-handed pitcher is a +1, which means he's better against righties because he bats lefty. So that helps. That makes advantage. He's a -8 against lefties. +1 against the righties. That takes 1 away from Leonard, makes him a 10. So a 10 and an 8. But even so, a 10 is still going to be able to stop an 8, I believe. Did I read that right? No, it stops a 9. It does not stop an 8. This single's going to stand. So it's a base hit for Trotsky to lead off the bottom of the 6th. So Trotsky is on. He only stole 1 base all year, so he's not going anywhere. Brings up G. Walker. It's a 12. It's a 25. And that's a double play, 4-6-3. So 2 quick outs for Jeff Heath. Heath, a 13 is a 14, and that's going to be, Leonard has a Z, but you need to have 2 Z's to stop that, so it's going to be a walk. 2-out walk to Heath brings up Ray Mack. 65 is a 35, and runner on first, 35 is a foul out to end the inning. Foul out to the catcher. So we go to the 7th, still 3-2. Favor of the Senators. Here's Farrell, the catcher, to lead off. 32 is a 26, and that's going to be a 4-3 ground out to second, 1 away. For the pitcher, Dutch Leonard. 54 for Leonard is a 32, and that's going to be a fly to right. 2 down. And that'll send up George Case, leadoff man. 33 for Case. It's a 0, so we're going to roll again to 36, and that's a 6. No stopping that. That's a double for Case. And for Case, his second double in a row. He had a double his last trip to the plate, was stranded at second. Here's Doc Creamer. It's a 12. It's a 25. Runner on second and a 25 is a line out to second, and that's going to end the inning. So 7th inning stretch is upon us. It's Washington 3, Cleveland 2. Now you got some decisions to make. Feller's going to bat second this inning. You could think about a pinch hitter. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. Here's Hemsley. 45 is a 14. That's going to be a walk. So now Feller can bunt. That would be the obvious play now for Feller to bunt. It's a 51. That is a 36. So we'll check the bunt with a runner on first and a 36. It says pass ball. That's the way I'm reading it here. Pass ball. Runner to second. So a pass ball. And Feller's still up there. I guess he could bunt again. You know what? They're going to have to swing away. 45 is a 14. And with a runner at second, 14, base on balls. So he walks Feller. There's a fire truck as some going down the street. I'm sure you can hear that. So runners at first and second, nobody out. And actually now Weatherly would be a great time to bunt, and he is going to bunt. It's a 23. That is a 29. So now with runners at first and second, 29 says 2 strikes. Batter misses the bunt attempt. So Weatherly is going to be back up there to swing away. That's a 14, and that's a 30. 30 is a fly out to left field, 1 away. Runners have to hold. So Weatherly unable to move the runners up. Here's Ken Keltner. He had a big double his last trip. 34. 34 is a 31. And that is a fly out to center. Runners have to hold. So they're still stranded at first at second. 2 down for Lou Boudreau. 56 is a 13. That's a strikeout. So that's going to end the inning as Leonard pitches out of that mess. We go to the 8th. It's still 3-2 in favor of the Senators. And that'll bring up left fielder Ben Chapman. 16 is a 28. 28 is a ground out to short, 1 away. So 1 down for Buddy Lewis. That's 26 for Buddy Lewis, and that is a 27. 27 is would have been a ground out to third, but Feller has the X, so that is a strikeout. Out number 2. Brings up Mickey Vernon. Vernon a 64. 13, he struck him out. So that's going to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th, still 3-2. And both pitchers fatigued. Believe they're still okay. Let's check Leonard. He's got a Q1. And I believe on a Q1, you know what? I think I'm just going to use... Here we go, Q1. No, you know what? I'm just going to go by the batter's face. I think that's what I'm going to use. Let's don't worry about the Q ratings. So he has faced 27. He has faced 30 batters. And on his card, it gives 32. So bullpen activity is going for the Senators as Walt Masterson is loosening. Right now, Hal Trosky will lead off the bottom of the 8th. Oh, we got a 66. That's a home run for Hal Trosky. So maybe he didn't get Leonard out of there fast enough as he gives up the homer on batter face number 31. He will now leave, and he gets a no decision as it's tied at 3. And we'll get a new pitcher in Walt Masterson. Walt Masterson will be coming on. In fact, there's going to be a double switch because Leonard is scheduled to bat 4th in the inning, and they want to have Masterson go a while. So we're going to take out Mickey Vernon from first base. He was the last man that made the last out, and they're going to bring in George Archie. So George Archie will now bat in the number 9 slot and play first base. And batting in the number 5 hole and pitching is Walt Masterson. He's got a Y and a W, and he's got a 4 for his number. So he is a Y and a W. And he's got the number 4. And he's got a, yep, so here we go. All right, so that's all for Leonard. He gets a no decision. Game is tied at 3 apiece. here in the bottom of the 8th, and it'll be G. Walker to lead things off. And he's going to greet Masterson with a 0 on there, so he gets a base hit for sure. 15 is a 2. So let's check this. Base is empty, and a 2 is a triple. There's no stopping that. So G. Walker greets Masterson with a triple. And now the infield's going to have to come in for the Senators. Is go-ahead run is at third. Nobody out. Here's Jeff Heath. 16 is a 28. Let's go to the runner on third. And a 28. Runner on third and a 28 with the infield in. With the infield in, which I believe is that the C or the D. I'm drawing a blank here. Let me look at the book real quick. Infield in. Where is that? I hate when I draw blanks like this. I think the infield in is a C. Let me pause the video until oh, here it is right here. Infield in is a C. So the infield was in, so I got to read the C result. All right. C result for Heath. And it was a 28. So the C result is single runner scores. Had they been back, it would have been a ground out with the runner scoring, but it's with the drawn in infield, he gets the base hit and puts Cleveland ahead 4-3 here in the bottom of the 8th. Still nobody out. Now a runner at first, and that'll bring up Ray Mack. 11. Boy, Masterson's not catching a break. That's a 0. That's a 56. That is going to be a 6. And with the runner at first, a 6 is probably a double. It is. Runner to third. If he's fast, he scores. Heath is fast, so he will score on that double. So an RBI double for Mack. And boy, talk about really, they just hit for the cycle here. Home run, triple, single, and a double. And Masterson has faced 3 batters and given up 3 hits. So here's Hemsley. All right, second, nobody out. 16 is a 28. The runner at second. And a 28 is a grounder. 3-1. So first to the pitcher covering with the runner advancing to third. So now the infield's in again. And Bob Feller, the batter. They're not going to pinch hit for Feller. They're going to try to get him to finish the game. It's a 43 for Feller. It's a 29. So with the runner at third, a 29. Ground out pitcher to first. Runner had to hold. So a tapper back to the mound. Could not advance the runner. That'll bring up Weatherly. 2 outs and a runner at third. 24 is a 30. 30 is a fly out to left. And that's going to end the inning. But the damage is done for 3 runs. And we go to the top of the 9th. It is Cleveland 5, Washington 3. And Feller going for a complete game. Let's see how many batters he has faced. He's faced 32. And on his card, Feller has 35. So bullpen is doing some light tossing down there, but they're going to see if Feller can finish it out. Here's Cecil Travis. Maybe get some energy from the lead. 23 is a 26. That is a ground out to second, 1 away. All right, that'll bring up Jimmy Bloodworth. 61. It's a 32. And it's another fly to right, or a fly to right, not another one, but a fly to right. So down to the last out, Rick Farrell. 61. That is a 24. And that's a grounder to short. There's your ball game. So the Indians come back down 3-1. They come back and win the ball game by the final score of 5-3. Winning pitcher with a complete game is Bob Feller, and the loser is Walt Masterson, as he came in and got really just knocked around senseless after all of that. So it's just the way that goes. Hopefully, I played this hybrid thing correctly with the Marino boards and whatnot. Anybody that's familiar with that, please give me some feedback on that. Let me know what mistakes I made and what I should have done, so I can tighten that up going forward. But right now, I'm looking maybe to get another APA set. They are a little pricey. That's the only thing holding me back, is they are a little pricey. But I may splurge and get one because they do have, at least for the seasons I'm looking at, either 86 or 67. I believe they have all the players, and they have the master symbols. So I may splurge on that for like a Christmas present to myself. I don't know. But anyway, I do like the cards. I do like the way they have the left-right splits on there, and of course, I didn't delve into it, but they do have the running ratings, steal ratings, arm throwing, and so forth. I'm sure there's some things here where I didn't incorporate this on base hits. So I'm sure there's probably some stuff there that I need to look at. I try to play this game as basic as I can, but I do like to add in the left-right splits if possible, and then use the ratings of the pitcher, not just the A, B, C, but the number grade of the pitcher. I think that adds to it as well. So that's going to do it from here. My first test run at this Marino board thing with APA. Of course, I played APA a lot, fair amount in the basic, but this is my first try at it with the Marino boards, the Paul Marino boards. So, what to say, practice, well, it won't make me perfect, but it might make me better at it. So I'll just continue to practice off and on, but I did want to put one game out here so that if nothing else, maybe it's just something for people who've played it a lot to give me some pointers and let me know what I'm getting wrong so that I can get it right for future reference. All right, that's going to do it from here. Hope everybody enjoyed that presentation of APA baseball. It's a game I don't get to play as much as I like because I've got like 6 games on my docket that I like to play, and it's hard to find time for all of them. So, but I was in the mood for APA, so this is what I did. So until next time, keep rolling and keep enjoying the hobby and play whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And I will see you all down the road.